I had the most interesting conversation. You guys have to hear this, yeah? So, I came out of a food fast, right? I had a food fast, so I didn't eat for a while. And one of the unusual things about coming out of a food fast for me is that I get some weird cravings, almost like a pregnant woman, like I crave food or drinks that I haven't had for like, I don't know, 5 years or even 10 years. So, anyway, right? The other day I came out of a fast and I was taking a walk with one of my boys. And I said to him, bro, you know what I fancy right now? And he was like, what? I was like, I really fancy toad in a hole. And he looked at me like, what? I was like, bro, I really fancy toad in a hole. And he looked at me like, bro, what are you talking about? And I looked at him, he looked at me, and we both looked at each other. And I was like, bro, toad in a hole. He's like, bro, is that like a club night? Is that a music group? Is like, what is that? What are you talking about? And it never ever occurred to me that he would not know what Toad in the Hole was, right? I'm an honorary Brit, right? I wasn't born and raised. I was raised here. I wasn't born here. I came to Britain when I was 8, 9 years old. I think 8. And he was born and bred here. He was born and bred here, like he's British, right? Albeit a British Ghanaian, but he's British nonetheless. He was born here, and he doesn't know what Toad in the Hole is. And then I asked him, bro, do you know what bangers and mash is? He's like, nah, bro, nah. He was looking at me weird, like, nah, bro, you like, he was waiting for me to bring out a camera, like, I'm doing a prank on you. He didn't know what bangers and mash was. Now, if you're British, obviously you know, especially if you're white British. Now, why that's interesting to me is that led us to have like a 3 hour conversation on just how integrated Britain really is. Are we even integrated? I mean, we're known around the world for being a multicultural, you know, country or island. Especially in London, it's the most cosmopolitan city in the world. But what use is that if we're not integrated? Or if we're integrated, what use is having that cosmopolitan tag if you don't know your neighbor, so to speak? You don't know who's living next to you. You don't know what food they like. You don't know what's great about their culture or not so great. Like, it's never crossed my mind that my experience was unique to only me, well, myself and my brothers. So basically, when I first came to the UK, or 3 years after I came to the UK, my father passed away, God rest his soul, and my mum was left back home, so there was no one really to look after myself and my brothers. So we became a ward of court, and we was in and out of foster homes, white foster homes, and then we eventually landed for 2, 3 years. We spent in the children's home, and there we experienced what I call quintessential British culture. You know, when I was speaking, it was funny when I was speaking to my boy. He's Ghanaian, but he's born and bred in Britain. Like, all his life, all he knows is British culture. Well, perceived British culture, right? And I spoke to him about Faulty Towers. He doesn't know. The two Ronnies, he doesn't know. Laurel and Hardy, he doesn't know. Playing Oliver at the West End, he doesn't know about it. Having roast dinner on a Sunday, he doesn't know. Bangers and mash, toad in a hole, shepherd's pie, he doesn't know. And I thought, wow. I was like, bro, you're wild. You're wilding out at the moment. He's like, nah, bro, I don't know. I was like, nah, you're having me on now. And he was like, genuinely, bro, I don't know. And it's just, I can't say I was shocked. I was shocked. But at the same time, I was just grateful for my personal experience, because that's what makes me feel powerful all the time. And throughout my journey, wherever I've been, when I was younger, when I was a teenager, like, whatever I've done, wherever I've been, whoever was in my surroundings, I felt like I felt like I was the most powerful person in the room, always, or in my environment, because I knew my environment. I knew everybody in my environment, and I knew everybody. I felt like I had a common lived experience with everybody, whoever they were, wherever they were from. And even when I started traveling and doing my music, it took me to the places where I could relate to a Romanian, I could relate to a Polish, I could relate to a Bangladeshi, a Pakistani, an Indian. Like it gave me a unique perspective that makes me the most powerful person, you know. And I think at the same time, it's also sad that we live in a country where we don't know really, we don't have a shared experience like that. One of the things that makes me powerful, I'm giving you a 101 lesson in how to be powerful, because one day I will be prime minister and you will all be my subjects. No, I'm playing, but for the most part, I just want to make it clear to you guys that we have to be powerful as individuals in order for us to grow powerful as a collective. And I think that begins with knowing your environment. And if you know your environment, you can master your environment. And in order for you to do that, you have to know the contents of that environment. And in this situation, it's just about knowing thy neighbor and loving thy neighbor. You can't love thy neighbor if you don't know your neighbor. You know, just take time to get to know, remain curious, be like a child again, and just keep that curiosity. Be curious about the environment that you're in, about your neighbor. What makes them tick? What is it about their culture that's fascinating? What can you learn about their culture that will strengthen your perspective of your own culture? And as a result, help you grow as a human being, man. That's all it's about ultimately. We don't want to be divided kingdom. We want to be united kingdom. And one of the things where you see, one of the areas or the times when you see cracks in our foundation is when we have a national crisis. Then you really get to see how divided we are. But it begins at the root level of just knowing your environment and knowing where you are and embracing where you are. Bless.